President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of the Arab Republic of Egypt and his honorable guest Omar al-Bashir, President of the Republic of the Sudan. Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Republic of Egypt, and his honorable guest Omar al-Bashir, President of the Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, let us live in peace so that we can die in peace. The difficulty is not in death but in life. We have came together on the land of peace, looking for common spaces for us as a point of departure for our dreams and hopes, we the youth, and with faithful efforts by the splendid youth of Egypt, we succeeded in having a unique international experience with a civilizational/Egyptian flavor. We conversed, we complemented each other, and we realized that it is our differences and the idiosyncratic differences is a strength, not a weakness, and complementarity is the way forward, not conflict. Young people from 160 countries from all over the world converged on the land of Egypt in search for development and creativity for a more humane future. Our dialogue was per se a humanitarian value, and we swear that we will not forego the gains of this dialogue. And indeed, the dialogue included listening to the experiences of others. It was not just listening for the sake of listening, but it was for the sake of understanding their life lessons of others. Now we present to you 5 model young people who will present their experiences to you.
World Youth Forum, under the auspices of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Your Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his honorable guests, honorable ministers, members of parliament, fellow youth of the World Youth Forum. At the outset, I want to congratulate you, Mr. President, and the youth of Egypt for what has been an incredible initiative for global youth. It is the first time that I have seen a president dedicate full time and focus to a forum on youth. Sitting through every session, taking notes, and engaging us in a real dialogue. And that shows me, as a young person, that our voices matter and our issues matter, so I thank you. I'd also like to thank Loyak Kuwait, a regional youth empowerment platform, for nominating me to take part in this powerful experience with you all. I've been energized and inspired by the sense of purpose that I've found here among young people from around the world. I'm Sara Abu Sha'ar, and it is my great honor to be speaking with you all. I want to start with a story. As a 7-year-old, I found myself standing in front of a tall, suited man, looking up at the towering structure that he was. I did not really understand what this man did, but I was told he was the president of a very powerful country. This did not really make a lot of sense to the 7-year-old version of me, but what I was very concerned about as a kid was how the power center of the earth had moved away from me and toward him, as everyone focused their attention on him. He looked at me and he said, "Young lady, what would you like to be when you grow up?" "President of the United States of America," I declared. And it turns out I was speaking to President George Bush Sr. Now, I had no idea what I meant, of course, nor did I know that I would end up interning at the White House several years later for some months. All I knew as a 7-year-old was the job looked like it was working great for him. President Bush responded, "Well, young lady, if I'm alive then, you have my vote when you run." The details of that moment have long faded from my memory, but I know that that story, that response replaying itself in my mind, empowered in me a sense of possibility to think big and dream big, not confined by constraint, that even as a young girl, I too could be him. As I grew older and became increasingly conscious of the realities of my surrounding world, its conflict and its challenges, that childhood aspiration, that thoughtless response, grew into a more concrete and grounded desire to take part in changing my world and shaping its future. And I remember speaking with my grandmother about my growing aims to join government and work on political progress and peace. And her response to me was slightly different. She said, "Allah yustur, la'ilek hilm tani." Basically, God forbid, find yourself another dream, better not you end up in trouble for your big dreams. And I think that so many of us young people have some version of my grandmother and hear some version of this language of the impossible. We are told to dream a little smaller to fit our contexts. But we tell young people to dream a little smaller, not just directly, but in their opportunities, where many don't even have the ability to even see the possibilities. And as the news grabs our attention with headlines of oil and turmoil, we lose sight of what is far more decisive to determining our prosperity and our peace. Our youth, not our oil, are our region's greatest power reserves if we can unlock its potential. Our education as young people is our country's greatest defense spending against war and terror if we invest what we waste on war and weapons today across our countries in empowering the problem solvers and the peace builders of the future. As I look within my life at what had been most transformative for me, I had the opportunity to gain a strong education in Kuwait, where I grew up, which in turn enabled my education at Harvard and which empowered my desire to take part in building up my world and to drive this possibility for so many other young people. Beyond education, the other critical piece is empowerment and a voice. So many young people across the world today are eager to participate in building up their countries, in shaping their futures. I am among them, as I know that many of you young people here today are. But this desire finds itself at odds with an environment where the opportunity for young people to participate is often limited. Very often I find myself in conferences on youth, and yet the youngest person representing the voice of youth is 57 or 60 years old. And yes, he was a youth 30 years ago. We need to create the space for young people to participate in a future they are very much at the heart of, to take part in building a world that we will live. And that brings me to an important point. I was truly delighted to see at the start of this forum discussions on empowering young people with disabilities. To capture the potential that young people represent, we must also capture and engage the diversity of our youth. If we are going to build a future that works for all of us, then we need all of us working on that future. When we are working on policies that affect people with disabilities, young people with disabilities have to be working on them. When we are speaking on questions or policies that affect women, young women need to be represented at the table working on them. People who are best positioned to understand the problems are in the best position to be working on the solutions. But driving progress cannot be the role of our governments alone. As young people, we need to take the initiative and be the change where we can't see it. And recognize that there will be challenges, but that change is not the work of a night. It is the constant commitment to a cause over the course of a life. Whatever you do, don't grow disillusioned, don't grow discouraged. Dream big. Believe in what you're working toward and work toward it every day through challenge after challenge and failure after failure. Persist and persevere, and you will find that probabilities start to mean very little. Persist in what you believe in and work toward it every day.
Why should these innocent people be punished for praying to God in their own way? War has proven to us that all men bleed and that the blood is always red, whatever the color of their skin. If we don't learn to speak the language of love, then we will get sucked into the spiderweb of hate. I have a dream, like Martin Luther King Jr. once did, that one day all of us humans are able to join hands and unite and walk together as brothers and sisters.
Thank you. That girl and what she stood for is why I'm standing here. And from the land of peace, I insist and persist on my dream of peace. Persist in what you believe in and work toward it every day. And as we do so across our 163 countries, across our thousands of efforts, that amounts to something powerful. Persist in what you believe in. The world needs our big dreams. It needs our action. Thank you.
World Youth Forum, under the auspices of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace be upon you.
Your Excellency, President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Your Excellency President of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir, honored guests, and dear fellows and now new friends from around the world. It's an honor for me to stand here and have the opportunity to talk to all of you. I'm Majda al-Mahi, an Italian-Moroccan student of economics and finance, a Girls 20 ambassador since I've represented Italy at the G20 summit in China, and a women empowerment advocate. A few days ago, I was sitting there, curious and excited during the opening ceremony of the World Youth Forum, asking myself, is it real? Now I can say it, yes it is. We are all united here this day because this beautiful country believes in the power and potential of youth to create solutions. Because Egypt knows that an investment on youth pays the best interest ever. We are 5,000 people from 160 countries with different backgrounds, cultures, and languages, but here, learning, discussing together, and getting inspired by international guests in extremely interesting sessions. To all my fellows, in this one-of-kind opportunity that I have, I would like to convey you a message and focus on this. The world that we live in today has been shaped by dreamers of yesterday. We are meant to dream and think big. Our imagination can unleash out our highest potentials. We are born creators. Every successful society is built by its citizens. Therefore, let's go back to our countries, take responsibility, and play our role. Today, not tomorrow, is the future we are talking about. After leaving this forum, after this huge investment and trust on us, we really can go back to our countries and not do anything. We are now committed to spread the message we've received, to inspire others now that we've been inspired, to do our best in the pursuit of a better world. This forum opened the whole world for us. We can reach out now anywhere, and we can have an impact not only in our community, but also people miles away. If you're sitting here, it's because they've seen something special in you, and I'm sure that all my fellows are doing something great in their home countries. But now, we are not one, we are 5,000. So let's use this platform. Let's keep in touch and build peace bridges to exchange ideas and solutions. Let's network. Can you imagine how many people have worked hard and are still working hard to let us have an incredible opportunity? On behalf of all World Youth Forum participants 2018, I would like to thank all organizers, volunteers, the security, the bus drivers, and the staff with us in hotels. Every single person who contributed. We really, really appreciate your effort. And once again, I would like to thank Your Excellency President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, for making all this possible. شكراً والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
World Youth Forum, under the auspices of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
My name is Willard Mswati Gomani from Malawi. My title is Inkosi Yamakosi Gomani V. I come from a tribe in Malawi. And I am also the king of this tribe. And this tribe is found in Malawi, Mozambique, Tanzania, and South Africa. I became the king of this tribe at the age of 16, 6 years ago. I thank God for this wonderful day. Your Excellency, the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Your Excellency, the President of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir, all honorable guests here present, my fellow youth. The World Youth Forum has provided a platform where the youth of the world and world leaders from diverse backgrounds come together and share knowledge on how we can foster peace, unity, and love for one another. It has provided an environment where the youth have been put at the center of discussions and have been given a chance to air out their thoughts and also learn from world leaders on how they can shape our world for the betterment of all people at large. This year's agenda has indeed showed that. From discussions on social media and its influence and how it can foster positive change and development through it. To talking about the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, and how we can get to achieving these goals. In Malawi, also known as the warm heart of Africa, I work together with government, local organizations, and international organizations, and the citizens in policy formulation, implementation, and monitoring to provide a resilient and developed nation for the betterment of the people of Malawi. Allow me, Your Excellency, to give an example. Imagine that there are 11 friends, and 10 of which are well-to-do, and the other one has nothing in his name, to his name. The 10 well-to-do friends contribute money to buy 10 sweets each, and ask the 11th poor friend to go to the market to buy them the sweets. He accepts with humility and goes to buy the sweets. And when he comes back, he gives the sweets to his friends, 10 each, but he still has nothing. His 10 friends then agree to give him 1 sweet each. Now the poor friend has 10 sweets, while his friends that are well-to-do have 9 each. This is an example of a loving world where the poor would not suffer nor be noticed as poor at all. A united world where we work together with the little that we have to develop each other and develop the world as a whole. It has been a privilege being part of the World Youth Forum once again since I was also here last year in 2017. Stepping foot in this wonderful city of peace, Sharm el-Sheikh. My brothers and my sisters, the youth are no longer just the leaders of tomorrow, as some of us knew while growing up, but rather the leaders of the present day and the future as well. Mr. President, Egypt and Malawi share good relations. And by seeing the wonderful work President Sisi and your government and your people of Egypt have done for the past 4 years in Malawi, through the ambassador of Egypt, Ambassador Mahir El-Adawi, I gave the ambassador the royal title of our clan, Maseko, which means pillars. And I believe that relations between our two countries will continue to grow stronger. Only those relations between our two countries, but relations between Egypt and the African Union next year. Thank you very much. God bless. Shukran.
World Youth Forum, under the auspices of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Your Excellency President of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir. Honorable guests, and above all, my fellow youth. I hope all of you have had an amazing time in this city, Sharm el-Sheikh, getting to know your fellow attendees, and the most important thing, to gain knowledge from the forum. I am humbled and honored to have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to stand before such an inspiring and motivated group of individuals. Before I start, I would like to thank everyone who made this possible event, as I cannot imagine the amount of time and preparation that it took to put this whole thing together. So thank you very much for this wonderful experience for all of us. My name is Apisara Sasison. I am from Thailand, known as the Land of Smile, because of our habitual friendliness and easygoing attitudes. In Thailand, we usually get gifted by our parents with incredibly long names, so we usually go by a nickname. Mine happens to be Mim, which means little bees. Anyone who has observed a bee will quickly learn how amazing they are, and I have learned a lot about diligence, cooperation, and togetherness with them. I am firmly believe that it is these qualities that will help us shape a better society. As the youngest international coordinator in the Department of Intellectual Property, Ministry of Commerce of Thailand, I learned that connecting with each other, building and sustaining cooperative and beneficial relations is paramount for a good working environment, business environment, and society overall. We have all come here because we have the desire to better our world in some way, whether in our workplace, hometown, country, or an international scales. This forum should be a model for how our world should be, a discourse with fellow human beings from across the globe coming together to share, grow, and prosper. After all, it is our relationship with one another that will determine what happens in the future. And if we lay down our pride and misconceptions, we will bring world peace and prosperity in fruition. On my way here, I experienced a grueling 7 hours layover in Cairo, where I was fortunate to meet a lot of inspiring people. I quickly learned just from those 7 hours that all of people attending this forum would be in my superior in some way. And I think it both humbling and inspiring realization for that. I have had the pleasure of meeting people from various professions since being here: mentors, entrepreneurs, engineers, professor, change maker, and many more, which all from diverse cultural backgrounds. The amount of diversity and knowledge that is present here is both awe-inspiring and powerful. And with the power, we can do great things for our world, environmentally and socially. All we need to do is to work together towards our goal. Tonight may mark the historic beginning to a movement of positive change that will take place in our each home countries as well as the whole world. And it all starts here, now, with us in Sharm el-Sheikh, the land of peace. Thank you very much.
World Youth Forum, under the auspices of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Assalamu alaikum. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, your honorable guests, and President Omar al-Bashir. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. These are the words of our very own Nelson Mandela. No person makes a greater mistake than he who does nothing because he can only do a little. My name is Catherine Constantinides, a proud South African, international climate activist, human rights defender, and a daughter of the soil of Africa. Your Excellency, we have traveled from all corners of the world to be here, gathered over these last few days. An honor to share a space with 5,000 young people who are energized, who come with their own thinking, their diverse thoughts. We have challenged each other, we have challenged perceptions, we have grown, debated, discussed, and we have learned. The great challenge now lies ahead of us, because now we have a responsibility to go back home and to action change. With no fancy titles, no corner offices, all we need is the conviction, passion, determination, and a relentless pursuit of the world that we believe is possible. This year we mark and observe the centenary of Nelson Mandela. And it is an opportunity for us to each ask ourselves, what kind of legacy do we want to leave behind? What do we do each and every day that pours into the lives of those around us, into the lives of those we serve? What is it that we will do to take ownership? And instead of pointing fingers at leaders who have failed us, governments who have not served us, how do we take the responsibility and ask ourselves as young leaders, what is it that we can do to take control of our own future? How is it that we can be better, active citizens, serving our very own communities, our countries, our regions, and the world at large? Now more than ever before, we are a connected global community, and we have access to information like never else. Another generation has never seen this kind of connectivity, and we have the opportunity to shape our future. This week, I had the opportunity to speak on the environmental and climate work I do back at home and across our continent. I was proud to present a case study on the water crisis that we saw in Cape Town in South Africa earlier this year. Many lessons learned, hard lessons, but ones that can be taken as examples for the rest of the region. I spoke a bit about water security, food security, and also climate justice. It is now time for us to strive for a place that we can all call home, that protects and safeguards the world's natural resources, and one that deliberately ensures that human rights and justice belong to each and every one of us, responsible for the values that we aspire to. In South Africa, we have a beautiful word. It's called Ubuntu. It's a Zulu word that really reminds us that our humanity rests and lies in each other. We are defined by our compassion and our kindness that we find in others. We are the generation that faces the world's greatest challenges, and these challenges are faced the world over. Some of them include poverty, hunger, climate change, refugees, migration, unemployment, a lack of access, human rights violations, gender inequality, a lack of access to safe drinking water and sanitation, addressing the Sustainable Development Goals. But most importantly, our greatest challenge is a lack of tolerance and respect. It is in these challenges that we can find our greatest opportunity. An opportunity to write a future that we can all be proud of. A future that sees us recognizing our greatest strength lies in our diversity. And that is who we should strive to be as a people. A different people, but with a shared vision. We need to be proud of who we are, acknowledge where we have come from, but we have to design and shape the future that we want to move towards. And we need to move towards that future together, from a country perspective and even a regional perspective. We need to ensure that we take responsibility for the dynamics of our own regions, our countries, and even down to a grassroots level at our communities. We need to all stand in the sand together. To my African brothers and sisters, to the youth of this great continent that we are privileged to call home, our time is now. We must own the fact that we can write our own stories, our own narrative, and most importantly, we need to take ownership of writing our own history. Dear World Youth Forum Fellows, participants who have spent the last few days here, the heroes that we are waiting for lie in each and every one of you. Leaders don't just get listed in history books. They live amongst us. The world awaits our great contribution. I implore you to go out and light the candles of others, because you will remember and be reminded that by lighting the candle of another, it takes nothing away from your own light. Our contribution needs to be now. Shukran, Nyabonga, thank you.
World Youth Forum, under the auspices of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of the Arab Republic of Egypt and his honorable guest, Excellency President Omar al-Bashir of the Brotherly Republic of the Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, listen to the kind voices. If the soul is sad, its light dims, and whenever it gets happy, the lights are reignited. This is what Plato said. A lot of people talk about art. Art is a language understood by all peoples. And here, from the World Youth Forum, we communicate via art. And one of the art forms that go deep to souls and emotions is singing, because singing is food for the soul. Now, the sisters Ayub will now. Then after Hussam Habib, the Egyptian singer.
World Youth Forum, under the auspices of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
إن الشباب بحاجة دائما إلى التحفيز والتشجيع لتحقيق المزيد من التطور والنجاح، كما أن دعم الإبداع وصناعة النماذج الملهمة يعدا من أهم الوسائل التي تضمن للإنسانية بقاء تقدمها وازدهارها الحضاري. والآن فليتشرف إلى المنصة السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي رئيس الجمهورية للبدء في مراسم تكريم المتميزين من شباب العالم. من أسبانيا السيد غييرمو مارتينيز بدأ مشروعه بعد رحلة إلى كينيا، قرر بعدها على ضوء ما رأى من حالات إنسانية أن يقدم أطراف صناعية بتقنية ثلاثية الأبعاد لكل من لا يمتلك المصادر المادية الكافية. اليوم مشروع هيلب مي يقدم أذرع صناعية ثلاثية الأبعاد لجميع الفئات التي
three-dimensional arms and displaying them here at this great forum to start to push forward their success worldwide in the four corners of the globe.
السيد
تاكوندا شينكونزو from Zimbabwe. He is a leading internet tycoon, 21 years old. He is a leader, yes, youth leader. From India, Dr. Harbin Arora, founder of Orbi Desig, an women's economic network, from one of the most important, which can be of benefit to all women worldwide by empowering them into leadership. Ghana, Farida Benwaya, founding partner and executive chair for informatics with novel inventions for the differently abled, according to UN terminology. From Egypt. He was a Paralympic champion, but all the challenges could not prevent him from achieving successes and obtained many medals. Nothing, no obstacle ever prevented him for bringing that honor to Egypt. So much honors. Ayub sisters, Sarah and Laura Ayub, two Egyptian ladies who are virtuoso in playing on various music instruments. Recently, they got their own albums and won in the general classic music competition. A proud example for the youth of the world. Nawafi Ben Hariki from Nigeria, who set up a non-profit organization bearing her name by acting selflessly in the movement of grouping about 9 million persons from various parts of the world, non-profit organization. Farid Hamidi, founder of Education, a project which is really a fourth generation-based technological foundation. Egypt, Mahmoud Saad Khalid, founder of Wired Microsystems programming company, basically about developing filing systems and other software to be used in the event of any kind of tragedy. Egypt, Radwa Hassan, speaker at one of the radio stations as well as one of the TV channels. Noteworthy that she is part of the presidential program, one of so many successes of the presidential program. And now, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will say a few words. He is the president, of course, our host, president of the Arab Republic of Egypt, in the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful, to tell you, to be frank with you. First, I would like to greet His Excellency President Omar al-Bashir, President of the Republic of Sudan, because he insisted, despite the fact that the program is so full at this time, but I would not fail to greet him. And at the outset, let me thank profusely each and everyone who took part in the effort that led us to such a great forum, I thank all those who contributed to such a success, and in particular the people of Sharm el-Sheikh for the warm welcome and generous hospitality, as well as the efforts they exerted to properly greet the guests. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Excellency President Omar al-Sharif, my children from both genders, from all parts of the world, As-salam, peace, is what we are striving for. I am telling you, I cannot tell you how proud I am to be in the midst of that great Areopagus, and how I enjoyed the discussions that took place, the exchange of views on proactive and substantive issues. Over the past few years, the contribution of youth from the four partners of the globe have been a cornerstone in building an international constructive dialogue. The real keen desire came from all those who are partaking to turn dialogue into recommendations and executive mechanisms conducive to a tangible state of affairs, as the contributions of each and every participant has led into something that could make us turn our forum into an international platform for youth from every part of the world. The idea, the dream emanated from the heart of the youth of Egypt, supported, backed by the state of Egypt. And here we are witnessing the outcome of that move. It's a lesson that most successes begin with an idea that gets turned into a dream and then materialized. So I am repeating my counsel to the youth of Egypt and all youth everywhere in the world, that dream should be their driving force. And I pray to God Almighty to bestow upon us the power to fulfill the will of our people and their legitimate projects, and we never lose sight of their hopes and aspirations for love and peace. Ladies and gentlemen, Egypt, whose roots go deep into history, the history of the world, and has that geography and also the demography that has become, has turned Egypt into a springboard towards the settlement of disputes and the quest for peace, as displayed by its youth, who are turning our activities into a springboard towards such a great future, whose objectives are good and love under circumstances worldwide that are really scary, with terrorism, extremism. So on behalf of the entire humanity, I say that this forum is the vivid example that dialogue and positive action are the way to solving all problems, resolving disputes, and to improve our lives, everybody's lives, at present and in future. As I had that bet I am seeing that it is materializing. I promised you, youth of people of Egypt and the entire world, that the state of Egypt will always be on your side. So I have decided first to declare the Egyptian city of Aswan as the capital of the African youth for the year 2019. To proclaim the city of Aswan in Egypt as the capital of the Egyptian youth in 2019, a year during which the Arab and African Youth Forum should spring to look into the various challenges and try to find the way and means to deal with them, to examine the majority, most of the challenges, issues and challenges facing the youth of the world. And we have decided to declare Sharm el-Sheikh the Arab-African integration city, as has been worked for during the present forum. Egypt, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is submitting that together with the League of Arab States and the African Union Commission, the AUC. 3, to entrust the National Academy to train Arab and African youths in all fields of human endeavor. Arab and African youth in all fields, political, economic and social, to launch the presidential program to train African youth on leadership. 4, the Egyptian states, with all its institutions, is patronizing the principle that preserving love and opposing terrorism is one of the human rights, and to taking in this conference from all countries of the world to extend material and moral support for victims of terrorism worldwide. 5, to set up a special research panel under the chair of the chairmanship of this forum on social that panel would come out with the best ways and means to maximize the benefits culturally, socially, and scientifically, and to report on the matter, to entrust the state of Egypt under the patronage of this forum to work on public awareness worldwide about the water situation and submit its findings to the international community. C, to launch an international initiative to train 10,000 Egyptian and African youths on developing computer or e-games and mechanisms, in addition to establishing 100 specialized companies in those fields in Egypt and Africa. 8, to direct all the states and institutions of Egypt to take action to set up a business leadership program in Egypt to provide all sorts of support to emerging companies in Egypt and all countries of the region. 9, to set up a committee on the memorial to revive the humanitarian action at the city of Sharm el-Sheikh, during which sculptures would partake, and that such a memorial should be turned into an international institution to preserve humanitarian values and extend support.
لضحايا العنف والإرهاب.
to victims of violence and terrorism. 10. To entrust the cabinet, the council of ministers, to set up a ministry from the ministries of social affairs to amend the law regularizing the work of civil societies
داخل جمهورية مصر العربية من خلال الاطلاع على التجارب الدولية المشابهة وإجراء حوار مجتمعي شامل يشارك فيه مجموعات شبابية متنوعة تمهيدا لعرضه على البرلمان.
preparatory to submitting those to Parliament. Distinguished delegates and youths, we are facing in our world today plenty of challenges, and which is really draining so many things. Poverty, ignorance, but we are looking forward for a better, brighter future. We would like this world to enjoy peace, to savor peace, that a world to turn it into the world where children, women, and all youth may, as the rest of humanity, enjoy all aspects of fairness, and we must really work hard on the side of achieving the dreams of our youth, and to make sure that our capability of realizing, of achieving the dreams be durable. We are in favor of love and tolerance as well as fraternity. God, who sent life unto us, souls, therefore preserving such a life is in line with the will of God. May all the people of the world, all the peoples of the world as well, and the countries be made to enjoy peace and security in the four corners of the globe. Thank you for coming. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. God bless everybody.
السلام الوطني لجمهورية مصر العربية.
The national anthem of the Arab Republic of Egypt.